offers a program for anyone who qualifies for the Personal Lifeline can get a broadband package for the enterprise. So we use the Federal Lifeline program because we're a telephone company by genetics, and so we're already involved in that program, so it's easy enough for us. So anybody who can qualify for any program in the Federal Lifeline program telephone can qualify for our 995 program. So I wanted to piggyback on that. And as Shannon points out, as broadband is looked at being more and more of a necessary utility, I started thinking in affordability. And I know that affordability is a huge issue for low income. I mean, that's clear, and I think that's part of what we're dealing with today is how to deal with those affordability issues. But for middle income folks like myself, I thought, well, is broadband excessively expensive to other necessary utilities that we pay for at our house? And so on this list here, these are actually new baby and family bills for July that were due on July 15th of 2016. So, as you can see from this list, our broadband plan.
These are not Minneapolis.
Well, okay. So that's what and I also am saying that I should make this a caveat. I live in a home that was built in 1930. So it's probably not the most energy efficient home around. I like to live in a home that breathes. So some of the contaminants can go out the windows, and other contaminants can come in. But see from this, our mid-level broadband plan is a 60 megabit down and 20 megabit upload. And that's $15.95 per month. And compared to the other things, it falls about right in the middle. It's about the same as we pay for electricity. So, as far as affordability, for middle income and higher people, the broadband plan is, I think, an affordable product for people like me. And when I started thinking, when we started, I was working for the company when we first started offering, back then it was called high-speed internet, now it would be a comparable broadband plan, and we offered, at the time, when we introduced this, a 256K high-speed internet. And that was, you're good at reading glasses here, that was $64 per month. That same mid-level broadband plan today, if we followed CPI, we would be offering that for $89.30. But we offer it for $59.95. So broadband may be one of the few services in America that has actually gone down in price in the last 6 years, at least as far as BEVVCOM. I can't speak for any other companies other than BEVVCOM. This is what we offered in 2000 and what we offer today. So, and I started thinking, well, what's the per megabit price? In 2000, that per megabit price was $256. Today's $1. So, I think companies like us have done a very good job in making our networks efficient. Part of that is powered because of take rates. We have many, many more broadband customers today than we did when we first started offering it. It was kind of like we were kind of betting on the come. It's like we're going to build it, and will they come? And eventually, when we first offered, we go, we're not getting the take rates on this stuff. This is a wise investment. And over time, it turned out it's been very well. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about briefly about affordability. But for a long time, I've been thinking about what I perceive to be a threat to broadband affordability. And this all started when I was a board member of the American Cable Association. And the American Cable Association, a group of small cable television companies in the country, started wondering about what the threats to our business model were. And not to go into the cost of programming and everything, but everybody thought that the areas of growth and the area of the most profitability for the future for all telecommunications companies, whether they're a cable company or they're a traditional landline company, was broadband. So, who are the big, and then you've got Title II. And ISPs like BEVVCOM are subject to Title II. But what about the edge providers and the content owners? They're not covered by that. So, what happens is there's a very lucrative revenue stream.
Title II for non-telecom. What does that mean?
Well, Title II means that the broadband side of your business will be regulated similarly to what the telephone side of your business will be regulated. So there'll be some regulatory requirements. Open and free internet access. You can't choke down traffic. You can't limit access to content. So that now will apply to ISPs, but it doesn't apply to edge providers like Netflix.
Okay, and that was, I was going to ask you to go there next.
Okay.
So and I get content, but
An edge provider would be YouTube,
okay.
Netflix. Oh, YouTube's kind of, they're an aggregator of content,
Right.
but Facebook would be one. So, I mean, there are 226 million
Right.
Facebook users in North America, the United States and Canada. So, and the concern that I've come across all stemmed from a practice that was used by ESPN Disney. And they had an online channel called ESPN 360, now it's called ESPN 3. And when they started it, it was going to be that in order for us to offer that product to our customers, we were going to be required to pay a monthly subscription to ESPN for every single one of our broadband subscribers, regardless of whether or not that customer ever wanted to access ESPN 3 at all. It's similar to the cable television pricing model that the content owners impose on cable. We can't offer any of the content on our cable TV system unless we pay a monthly fee per month for each and every subscriber.
Did you have a choice? You had a choice.
We had a choice and we said no.
And you said no.
We did not want that camel's nose under the tent. We said, if our customers want ESPN badly enough, we're willing to let them go. Because we thought that was a real threat to a very lucrative and relatively free market. So currently, Google, Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, and Google are all free services to the end user. There are certain subscription services that are over the top that there's a direct relationship between Netflix and the consumer. We're not involved in that at all. Hulu, Netflix, CBS All Access, HBO Go are all services that will be a direct kind of a la carte service. The consumer gets to choose whether they want to access that content, and that's a relationship merely between the consumer and the content owner of that network. So my concern, I think the concern of many people who are in this, is what happens if, as there's more cord cutting and more over-the-top services are being adopted by end users, will there be a financial incentive for these edge providers and content owners to make the ISPs the middlemen, as they are in the cable TV business? So, God forbid, what if Facebook said, we're not going to allow any of your customers to get access to their Facebook account unless you agree to an affiliation agreement with us and pay us a monthly fee per subscriber. And that monthly fee would have to be passed on, because we can't keep that as a private business. We would pass that on to the consumer, and that would increase our broadband rate, which over time has actually going down. And I think that's a good thing that's been going down. I think it's through efficiencies and better equipment and cheaper equipment and more adoption. But what would happen if these edge providers I'll give an example. Netflix, I think, might be one that might be the first to do it. Because Netflix just increased their online streaming service rates to their customers. Well, for the first time in Netflix history, once that happened, their subscriber base actually went down for the first time in Netflix history. So if that trend continues, where will Netflix turn to try to recoup that lost revenue? I'm afraid they're going to look at ISP and say, we're going to block, choke down our services to your customers unless you agree to enter an affiliation with us. And they would have the ability to block IP addresses. Companies have done that. BEVVCOM did that in a dispute with Cable One, where Cable One refused to enter into an agreement with BEVVCOM. BEVVCOM services like MTV, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central. Cable One didn't like the terms and conditions of that affiliation agreement. They said we're going to walk away. And that previous online content that BEVVCOM offered was blocked from every single one of Cable One's subscribers, whether or not they were a cable TV subscriber or not. Cable One had many of its customers that were just ISP customers. They didn't even have their cable TV service. But BEVVCOM blocked all that content. And so I think that the content owners and the edge providers who are unregulated by Title II, as there's more and more challenges to their business model, may look to ISPs to recoup those losses. ESPN was a perfect example. It didn't really work out well for ESPN because ESPN3 was just kind of some fringe sports programming, but I just think that there's a real incentive for non-regulated entities to make mischief in a Title II regulation, where talk about an unlevel playing field. We have to offer all this stuff to our customers, outright that it's illegal, and they can Netflix choke down traffic they want. I don't think that was any nefarious reason. I think they were just there's a lot of Netflix users and there's a lot of high definition video that's going across the internet backbone, and they just may have run out of capacity. That may have been why they could choke it down. But they could also choke it down for any number of reasons. So I think this is something that policymakers maybe should want to get ahead of the curve on. There's always been, small companies like BEVVCOM, we don't really have much control over the internet backbone at all. We're just an ISP providing the service. We don't have an internet backbone. We don't have long haul facilities. We have relationships with long haul facilities and have LLCs and various partnerships to get to a certain meet point, Plymouth or Minneapolis or Ortona, but after that, it's out of our hands. So that's the one thing that is, I think, a concern to people who are aware of the cloud that the Googles and the Netflix and the Facebooks of the world have, and how ubiquitous some of those companies are. And if our customers were blocked from Facebook, we could tell them we didn't do it. Facebook did it. Customer wouldn't care. It's BEVVCOM's problem. We fix it, and then we fix it, and then our broadband rates we have to go.
So it's interesting. I mean, I hear what your concern is, and I can see why the task force would be interested in an issue from an affordability standpoint. The policy issue would seem to be at the federal level.
That's correct.
Because I don't know if the state could really deal with the issue coherently.
It's not a state issue.
Right.
But I think it's just something that, as far as an affordability standpoint, if broadband started to become unaffordable, if there's a, and Shannon's gonna talk about the federal lifeline program, and if they're gonna cap that at $10 a month, the cost of a broadband product goes up to $100 a month. From a provider standpoint, that $10 a month isn't gonna help us at all. So, that's the issue. And is there anybody from Google here?
They're not building in there.
Well, no, they're not
Everywhere
building.
else for that matter.
They're not building in Minnesota. But I'll tell you what, Google is the darling child of Washington and the FCC. Google can do no wrong. And if Google would be opposed to them being regulated under Title II, there's no chance that edge providers ever be regulated, because Google is God. And I'm more afraid of Google. I mean, and if you talk about, I'll step off track a little bit, not only on the ability to control the internet, but as far as internet privacy is concerned, how much information does Google have from all of us in this room? Nobody's looking at Google, because Google is going to be the savior of everybody. And then they position themselves that way in Washington. The FCC loves Google, so watch out for Google.
So, the question, this has gone on in the content side of the cable and satellite industry for years, where providers have tried to hold hostage access to channels because they don't, the providers or the networks don't, or not, sorry, the cable and satellite providers don't want to pass that charge along. And that ends up getting settled. They negotiate, they figure it out. In some cases, they drop the channel, and the customers who are having that, either lose that access or have to go someplace else. We're talking about entertainment here. The first part of the meeting today, we were talking about what I would consider to be much more critical information to get on the internet versus entertainment. Entertainment is valid on the internet. I do a lot over the top myself, but if it was gone versus I wasn't able to, my daughter wasn't able to do her homework, I think that's a completely different scenario. So I guess I'm just curious on how those
I guess the scenario would be is that I think whether we recognize it or not, I think that the growth of the internet and broadband demand has been driven by that. I mean, without Netflix, without Facebook, without some of these, without YouTube, all the great things that the internet can do for education, work, jobs, probably doesn't happen. Or we wouldn't be at the stage we are today without those entertainment applications. I can't imagine how livid our customers would be if we decided, if Netflix for instance decided they wanted to hold us hostage and charge us $1 or $2 for every one of our broadband subscribers. So our customers who are Netflix subscribers could continue to get Netflix content. And that entertainment-driven cost increase does affect everybody's children's ability to get affordable broadband to school. Because the cost is the cost. And whoever's driving that cost, it doesn't really matter who's driving the cost is going to go up.
So as a provider, you could either choose to pass that along and say, customers, you have to make the choice on access along because Netflix is raising this thing. You get what you want. And in many cases, the customer doesn't have an alternative. If they want Netflix or if they want internet, they've got to use, they come from one provider in most cases. Very few actually have more than one choice, so they either have to accept it or not.
But what would happen would be is that if the customer didn't want Netflix or not, that doesn't matter. We would have to pay Netflix for them even if they weren't a Netflix subscriber. So that increases the cost to everybody. Similar to what happens in the cable TV industry. You pay, I pay $70 a month for an expanded basic cable TV service. I watch 3 channels. I'm paying for all of that stuff, but it's because that's the way that business model has been created. And it would happen. What if it happens on the broadband side? I'm not an Amazon Prime customer, but if Amazon Prime charges my ISP, I'm paying for Amazon Prime whether I use it or not.
And I think that the challenge too is not necessarily Netflix charging $2, but Netflix charging 50 cents, Google charging 50 cents, Amazon Prime charging 50 cents. And it just, I mean, if we
cumulative.
It is, I don't disagree with that, but the providers can come back and say, customers, we're trying to do this for the right reasons. So I apologize if I'm cutting off your Amazon Prime, but we're not going to raise everybody else's because only X% of our customers do that.
Yeah, and that sounds great, but I think, I mean, the problem is in the industry experience, the outcry from customers who do use the service, and they are so broadly used, especially the free services like Facebook, Google, that it's unbearable.
And if we don't enter into a contract with that content provider or that edge provider, will we somehow run afoul of Title II? We're not providing an open and free internet service to our customers. By us making that decision to not enter into that contract with that edge or content provider, our customers are denied access to that content.
So I don't think this is a problem for us to solve. I mean, I agree.
No, I mean,
But I
it's
feel
not
like
a
it was
thought.
something for us to at least be aware of and think about as we are placing our work in the bigger spectrum. And we do talk about federal regulation a lot. And so.
And this hasn't really reared its head yet, but I could see as there's more over the top and more content providers are losing their subscribers when people are dropping their cable TV service, or Netflix is starting to lose subscribers because they've just raised their rates. These have been very lucrative revenue streams for these companies. And where are they going to recruit? Facebook probably has advertising, but what if advertisers? What if Facebook's subscribers drop? I mean, it hasn't shown any signs of that yet, but it's like any other online social media product. At some point, it's going to reach its saturation point and it will drop. There'll be something else that will take its place. And what would Facebook do while it's on the downward slide to keep its revenue streams going? I don't have the answer, but it's something that the American Cable Association, I was on the board for 4 years, and we were constantly trying to figure out how to educate policymakers on the potential for unregulated content and edge providers from really affecting the cost of broadband service. Any other questions? That's all I have.
And this is still, I take it, on the radar of.
It's on the radar, but I think if policymakers might need to pay attention to the possibility of this. I mean, it's been tried before, not very successfully, but it was from a company that the content wasn't particularly desirable. But if it was for content that was really desirable, then I think you're going to see.
And it'll be part of the national discourse because edge providers really don't fit into the FCC's jurisdiction, which is why they aren't covered by the Title II rules. So it would take a legislative fix to really include them explicitly under that jurisdiction, or delegate them to the FTC, or do something to address the
Do they
issues.
live anywhere right now? They have a home here?
Not really. It
And
depends on the
Google-
topic. I know the FTC will.
Wow.
And Google will ring the bell. This will be, if there's any attempt to do that, this will be infringement on innovation in the internet. Trying to, choke down innovation and, yes.
When are those edge content people, Netflix, or Hulu, or YouTube, when are they going to send a check for running over our network? Is that something we should wait up for, or?
I wouldn't wait for that to happen.
Probably not.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's amazing. We're all on here increasing our entire networks for a guy that doesn't, a product that doesn't pay a dime for delivery. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's why I said, if they were covered under Title II, they might have to pay for that access, but they're not under Title II. So there's a free.
And we had Skype here a little while ago, what did that run on?
Pardon?
Skype, we had a person on that.
Skype's a complete.
I'm waiting for that check too.
Well, we are too, and I don't think I'll.
They could not give to the end user if it wasn't a network.
If I see a check before I retire, I would be surprised.
You know, just a little note of a cynicism here is, you know, this, the list, I think this is really great, the fact that you took your personal family expenses and put this as a part of this, because we all talk about it, and so I have it in black and white, is really interesting. But the one piece about it, you know, that I have said all along is we can celebrate the fact that internet access cost has gone down, but the problem is, and it's maybe comparable with the electric bill or something like that, but on the other hand, nothing has been taken off the plate for the average family. Now, today we talked about some of the ways that that internet can cause efficiency in your family and maybe some reduction in expenses, but Shannon referred to it as a basic right to broadband. And so we just added a basic right to part of the necessity of an everyday family's life at an extra cost and you know, I mean, I don't want to get into this discussion and don't mean to, but at the other hand, so what in their other parts of the family the costs have gone down, what balance that new, you know, you look at here, you go wireless, cable, and broadband, and that's $350. Where did their paychecks go up that much? Yeah, since they started, you know, and that's just such a different philosophical discussion.
It's to your point, getting a little off point. Every expense for middle class families has gone up far in excess of the increase in income over the last 30 years. The cost of college tuition, the cost of a new home, all of that has gone up greatly in excess of CPI. I went to St. Olaf College in 1975, 1979, and I know what I paid then, and I punched that number